Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Vector W8 Garage. It's been a while since I've put out a video, so we're going to get to it. Probably not, all you Vector W8 fans, probably not exactly what you're looking for here, so, but I try to diversify the content on this channel because there's a lot of stuff around here that I have, a lot of stuff I'm always working on, things I'm trying to do. So today's more of a John Deere day than it's going to be a Vector W8 day. This John Deere 4720 that I bought used is a 2011 model, and yeah, it's going to give me plenty of content out here. So for those of you who are into tractors and stuff that you know, we work land with, that's this one's going to be interesting. Had a couple of blower motors fail on it over the winter. So went from having heat to not having any heat. Not much fun when it's 20 degrees out or less. So that we've had to improvise there. Put a item in there that is heating my rear end at least, and keeping me from freezing in that thing. But we've got other things that we want to do too. John Deere has a very nice strobe light for it, just a warning beacon, and they want, I don't know, over $300 for the darn thing. Me being a little more frugal than that at times, have decided I'll build my own kit, and so that's kind of where we're at today. My kit is double the units that John Deere gives you. They only place it off of the left-hand side of the tractor cab. I'm going to try and do one off the left, one off the right, because the one on the left, if you're on the right side of the cab, you really can't see that warning beacon. So we're going to build our own. Bought a bunch of parts off of a online store, and picked up a couple of things that were factory. Just ordered them through a John Deere dealership, so that it looks like factory parts, because it is. But yeah, we're gonna put up a couple of LED strobes. The strobe that John Deere has is an incandescent one. Kind of, you know, what they've been using for the past 25-30 years, and so we're gonna try and get something, you know, more modern than that on there that looks the part, still looks like the factory one, but is a more modern internal LED. So that's where I'm going today. So I hope you guys will stick with me, watch this. I've got some more Vector content coming. It's been a little bit rough here with work. I'm working 12 to 14 hours a day these days, so trying to produce YouTube content has really dropped off the map, just because I don't have the time to do it. If I could make this a full-time job, if I had enough viewers and subscribers, then it would be something different. But now it's very sporadic because we're back to work out of the COVID situation, and it's not giving me much time to do this. So appreciate you guys watching, and hope you enjoy the content. Well, I can see the lighting here is doing me a lot of good. Let me turn you around the other way. Do that instead. Okay, much better. So, in order to create the beacon system on the tractor that I want to have for warning lights, I kept looking at the John Deere one. It was over $300, and I thought, this is ridiculous. It's, you know, there's got to be a better way. Also, it was an incandescent piece. It's, you know, getting a little long in the tooth for the way it was designed. It's been on their tractors for, you know, as long as I can remember, and even as a kid. Growing up, I used to work on farms here locally, and on the big John Deere tractors that we had, they had the exact same beacon that they have today. So I thought, well, let's see if we can find something better. Did a bunch of research, found a couple of LED units, wanting to keep with the theme of the look of the John Deere pieces. It's amazing how close they are in resemblance. So it'll at least look like it was a factory part. So what I had to do was put together a list of stuff that I needed. Things that we needed were the beacon light switch. For that, I went right to the John Deere dealership for that, because the one thing I love about John Deere and their tractors is that John Deere has a tendency to build the wire harnesses as one wire harness for every version of that same model that you have. And then they include every available option that you could possibly buy on that tractor. So they have the wire harness there. It's already pre-wired. There's nothing you have to go run from a wire perspective except, you know, what you decide to add in there yourself. So that was huge. So you get the John Deere switch, you plug the John Deere switch in to the wire harness, and there's already a wire sitting up at the top of the cab that allows you to power the beacon light that they have. They've got a direct plug-in, so I'm going to have to see what, I haven't gone out there and looked at the tractor to see what type of a connector is up there. I'll end up ordering another connector that matches or mates up to it. That way it is a factory plug-and-play type deal. So began to look around, ended up on one of the big sites out there. I'm not going to mention any names because I'm not sponsored by them. Ordered up 2 beacon lights because they were so cheap. Now, chances are they're probably made in China, Korea, or Taiwan, or someplace like that, but I can't imagine that John Deere's is made here locally either. So, ordered 2 of them. Ended up using a couple of other parts that were out there, which are going to make it look nice and factory. There's a post for the beacon light, which I have here. You guys can see we've got all the subcomponents here. There's 2 of those, one still in the bag. This is the John Deere beacon switch, so that's the factory switch itself. Then what I did is went on and looked for some heavy-duty L brackets. That's how it's mounted from John Deere, is on an L bracket. I think this one's a lot more sturdy than what the factory one is. And so I've just got to pre-drill them, fit them up to the tractor where the bolts are for the factory bolts. John Deere uses M8 by 25 bolts, so I've got a couple of cap screws for that. So that should take care of that. And then we'll drill these out. We'll make them look like they need to, and repaint them black once we get it done, just to clean them up so they don't rust on us. And then that'll give us what we need. Now, I'll have to create the wire harness, so that's still on my list of stuff to do. We're still waiting for the beacon lights to come in. We'll get all this mounted ahead of time, and then that way it's just a plug and play for those, and then we'll wire it all up once we get that factory looking wire in there, or that, should I say, the connector. So that's the plan for the day. Also got to change the oil in the Jeep, so that's on my list of stuff to do here. It's got a few miles on the old oil change, so we're gonna go out there, put a new oil and filter in it, and that's my extent of fun. And I'll probably put you on time lapse for what we do there, and I'll not bore you with the drill and tap situation for the John Deere brackets. It's you know, just a matter of 3 drill holes for each one, and we'll call it good. Mount up the light beacon posts, and it should be good to go. Alright, so here we are. We've got our Allen wrenches, our cap screw, which you see just rolling around on the table there, some drilled and brackets, and then of course the 2 posts, the switch, and then some mounting hardware, some washers, lock washers, flat washers, etc. So pretty simple, not a lot to it. So we'll get rolling here, and I'll put you guys on time lapse for this because it'll probably bore you to death if I keep it on video for the whole time. Alright, so on each side of the cab we put a bracket. You can see the mounting holes there for it. And so we'll put the post in there. We'll run the wires down the bracket just like John Deere does. And because these are a nice heavy-duty shelving bracket, and that's the one side, and this is the other. Yeah, they're a nice heavy-duty shelving bracket. They're 1/8 of an inch thick. It won't be going anywhere. This one on the other side here, it needed a little bit more work because of the antenna behind it for the AM and FM in it. So a little bit of rework there, but overall, not much different than what John Deere's bracket is. I may eventually trim that bottom edge off of it, but it isn't too terrible. So with it being black, it matches the post just like the John Deere one would. So next steps will be to get this thing all wired up. Alright, so we've pulled the bolts out of the console on the right side, or the screws should I say, and from there I'll show you what we've got. Popped one of the switch pads. That's always entertaining. So here's what John Deere does for you. If you look underneath here, you'll see that they've got all the wiring here. And what they do is they label their switches, and that one says beacon switch right on it. So it's nice, convenient, easy. A little corroded from being sitting out here for a while. So what I'll do is I'll put some dielectric grease on that and get that all nice and cleaned up here, so that it engages well with our switch, as you saw me put that in. So there's the switch underneath there, now in its new location for the beacon light, and ready to go. Alright, so we've been waiting for a while for a couple of items to come in. This one just arrived today. Kind of got a strange wrapping on it, so we know that that's most likely from China. It smells strange too. It's got this mint smell to it, which is very odd. So if I fall on the floor and die, everybody knows what happened to me. So we'll see what we've got here. This is the big expense on my part, or should I say the big cheap out on my part, because I didn't want to use John Deere kit. So warning flash beacon. The beacon kit from John Deere, like I said, is over $300. All said and done, turning it to a dual kit on mine. Let's see here. Looks identical to the other one. I mean, to be honest with you, quite a decent looking little unit. All LED, which is kind of nice. I'm hoping that these show up, work better, and last longer than the incandescent version will. But I've had LEDs fail on me in the past, and be no exception to the rule. I can see that this is going to go back on nicely. Take it off and it doesn't want to rethread. So I can get it to catch right. There we go. It's got a nice O-ring seal on it. Keep the elements out, so I anticipate it'll be good. We'll get it on its post. It's got the single pin connector down in the center of it. So we'll get it on its post. We'll put it together. And this one will be the opposite side. This will go on the right-hand side of the cab. So that we've got a left and a right, which John Deere never did either. And for the price that I paid for these, I think they were around $34 a piece. So I've got about $68 in the LEDs. I've got another maybe $26 in the two posts for it. $16 I think for the brackets, the L brackets. $5.95 for a connector. And then the John Deere switch. I bought the original John Deere switch so it looked right in the cab and worked and functioned the way it's supposed to. And that was, I think, $44 when I purchased it online. And I bought that from Green Tractor Parts. They were just as fair as any price I could get from anywhere else. So ordered that, had it shipped in, and it's in the cab as you guys have seen in the video. We put that in. But this is it. So we'll continue assembling this, get the other post with it, and ground it out and do everything we have to on the tractor, and then we'll fire them both up and see how they do. So that's coming up. Alright guys, it's a couple weeks later, but the LED light made it in. There's the post. Then created a pigtail here for it, and I probably should have done this out of black. I'll regret it at a later date. Here's our ground. Soldered that on. Created a little pigtail on the end. And then this is our quick connect. You can buy this at your local automotive store or on any of the major box stores online. I just picked it up at my local O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Big whopping $5, which of course is exorbitant because realistically that's about a 32-cent connector. But hey, who's complaining about current inflation that we're living through? So I'm gonna go mount this on the cab. It's currently a whopping 17 degrees out, so I'm not going to put the camera outside that. There's the rest of my tools I utilize for it. So I'll get this rolling and get it on, and then I'll go out and videotape it once it's mounted on the tractor. So I have to be quite honest, it's been a complete pain in the ass to put this thing together, but it turned out pretty darn well. I'm really surprised by it. I've got the one side on right now. I will add the other one here eventually. I've got 99% of it sorted out. Everything works like a champ. I'll turn it on at night and record some video of it. But bang for the buck, just kills the John Deere. A little bit of a pain in the rear end because I had to swap out connectors on it instead of using the factory connectors, but that's here or there for a 2011 tractor. So for me to just swap out the connectors and make this thing work, it came together pretty nice. So I'll do a little bit of a close-up on it. I've got some wires that are still needing to be hooked up just because I'm going to put the second one in and we'll put it on the other side. But for the single side right now that's up and running, it really looks good. So I'll give a quick shot of it, and then we'll try it out here in the dark and see how well it lights up the area. So see if it's pretty visible from a distance. all nice and tidied up on there. Looks like it came from the factory. The difference between it is the factory bracket bends out at the edge at 90° up, and then the beacon is mounted to that on the 90° bend. Mine is just a straight drill hole through, and so it looks a little bit actually neater and tidier than the factory one. Just a 2-wire connection on it, so it's pretty basic, pretty straightforward. But yeah, looking forward to throwing it on at night and just seeing how much it lights up the area. I've flicked it on during the daylight here, and you can certainly see it. It just is meant to be for low visibility, low light conditions, and give a good warning for the vehicle. And in daylight, it lights up pretty well too. It's just not probably as visible as it could be at night. So we'll give it a shot, and I'll come back out here when it's dark. All right, well, we finally got to the point where it's dark out, so we'll go outside and we'll see how well this beacon works, and hopefully everything looks good. Definitely seems to be plenty bright and very visible, so I'll call this one a success, and I'll give an update here when we get the other side on, and shoot a shot of that so you can see what it looks like with both of them. But for now, it works, and works like a champ. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, we've got some more vector content coming up here shortly, and for those of you who are into tractors, well, the John Deere will provide plenty of future content, I'm sure. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you later.